Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wicked Weekly. My name's Brian if you happen to be new around here, and today we're going to go through Hotfix number 4, giving you guys all the details about what that entails, but we're also going to spend a little bit of time after the news having a little bit of a discussion. I was asked an interesting question on my hardcore live stream and hardcore run. So it just sounds dirty, but I was asked this really interesting question whether it was fair that gamers are review bombing this game, and I have some thoughts that I like to share. In fact, Thomas is in a way kind of tweeting this out. You can see here as of May 3rd, this is kind of how they're looking at overall Steam reviews. You can see it mostly negative. If we actually zoom in and enhance, this is them comparing it to other games. Interesting that right now Diablo 4 mostly positive. The comments section on my channel has been really negative about Diablo 4, so I find that a little bit surprising. But then you see with a little bit more time that it is actually improving and has moved from mostly negative to mixed. So as they push out these hotfixes, and I'm even kind of joking, I wonder by the time this video goes live if Hotfix 3 isn't out in the wild. This is what they do. They listen, they adjust, and they fix. And while I do want to set the expectation that we will see a slowdown of hotfixes as things get, kind of worked out and they start gathering new telemetry, I'll be sure to be covering it all here for you guys. And speaking of which, welcome into the over 440 new subscribers here to the channel. You can see this crazy stat of it's over 999% more. So welcome in, guys. Thanks for taking a chance on my channel, and huge shout out to I Am Zazar and Kuth Zone. They are new subscribers and they let me know in the comments. I'd love to welcome you guys as well, either in video form or in the comments. So sound off below if you're new, but let's dive into the reason why you clicked on this video in the first place. Kuro kicks it off with Hotfix number 2 patch notes. No rest for the wicked indeed. After we landed Hotfix 1, we fixed another set of things that we've seen that we really wanted to do and quickly address. This hotfix will solve a bunch of the most obvious issues that were left over, such as invisible enemies spawning sometimes, addressing quite a bit of combat feedback, beds are now a dream to sleep in, and so on and so on. So here's the breakdown. We open it up with UI. We have one UI adjustment. Higher level enemies now have a skull icon above their health bar, and this is going to help me out dramatically on my hardcore run, which we're still going strong, and we're going to be streaming those Saturday mornings if you guys want to come hang out for that. It's absolutely a freaking blast. But moving on, the balance changes. Here's the first one I really want to highlight for you guys. Increased poise damage on axe, clubs, hammers, maces, straight swords, and wakashis. I can't pronounce that. So, pronunciation check in the comments, please help me out with that. But if we head over into the game, I want to show you guys something that's very important, especially for you new players out there. Turn show enemy poise bars on. This is going to help you out dramatically when it's all said and done. This is going to put that little white bar above them, and when it comes down to just this hotfix alone and the increase in poise damage, it will give you needed insight to when you're about to stagger an enemy. But moving on, they reduce the health on bounty enemies. Resting in a bed now gives a rest bonus immediately instead after a set duration. It will also immediately heal players now. They removed armor penetration from enemies. They increased the lifesteal coefficient from 0.2 to 0.3. They increased the health regen coefficient from 0.02 to 0.04. They increased values of all health regen enchantments. They added in off-screen protection so that enemies don't immediately attack from off-screen, increasing costs for enhancing and infusing gear at Eleanor's, and the Atheus, the Quartz, the Ruby, Sapphire gem changes now grant elemental infusion on weapons and bows. I was actually talking about that in the official Discord just a couple days ago. I'm interested to see how that plays out now with all the other adjustments they've made. And finally, on balance, they increase value for all deal damage on block enchantments. For enemy and bosses, they rebalance the Caretaker and Voice of Marin bosses, improve gameplay around him, teleporting around, and more opportunities to fight back. They nerf timings on attacks so that we don't annoy players with slower weapons or too much. For loot changes, increase the drop rates on bosses, and they increased the drop rates on elite enemies. They increased loot drops on beasts. They increased chance of dropping 2 wood from trees, and they increased fishing drop rate. For quests, Caroline now offers Innkeeper's Husband quest immediately after entering in Sacrament instead of after the Inquisition Arrival cinematic. Do this quest. If you guys have not done the Innkeeper's quest, this will open up obviously the chef, but this is a really good quest. It's going to feed you with a little bit of experience, which will help as you continue to level. I always kind of run at this one first because it also opens up more of the map, especially in the early areas. Now, finally, in terms of bug fixes, they fixed the water channel key being unavailable. The chest has been replaced with a shiny that has the key. They fixed Laura not being able to continue in the Weeping Sisters. They fixed invisible Bollock Toiles. They fixed Gordon by key spawning after the quest is over. They fixed explosion on kill effect. They fixed sorting under the new categories on activity screen. They fixed wall and lever pull timing in Marion and Mountain Pass. They fixed timing on enemy knife attic. They fixed enemies not being visible due to lighting in Marion Woods. That's actually caught me off guard. That was kind of surprising. They fixed an icon on Scorch Broad Blade and Wetted Wedge, and they polished the activities log. I expect that we're going to keep seeing these hot fixes roll out to the point where we start seeing them a little bit less and a little bit less, and that's when we'll start talking a little bit more about the multiplayer co-op update, and there's so much to look forward to when it's all said and done. But I do want to dive into what I kind of opened up the show with here today, talking about, is it fair for these negative review bombings? And it was such an interesting question because there's so much in a way to unpack. Like, a part of me can understand it, but I think that the question is kind of rooted in the idea that we want this game to succeed and the negative reviews are hurting the game. But I would offer this as a counterpoint, especially if you fall into that. And I want to show this. We're going to kick it back off here with Thomas doing this. It ended in this discussion thread. Let's start with what Sam has to say. He says, people are upset because the game, the update doesn't address issues that have been there from the start. It's not review bombing. It's your fan base trying to be heard. I actually prefer the update, but I agree with the reviews. The durability system and farming resources are tedious AF. Here's what I think is the difference maker. Watch this. Thomas says, what's tedious about it? The fact that you have to do it at all, or do you mean how many resources you're getting? He's actively listening to us, the players. This is the opportunity for us to engage in those discussions, not shut them down. And Sam goes on to continue. If you repeatedly lose to a boss fight like me, you have to spend all your hard-earned resources just to try again. Then you will come across a vendor and you have nothing left to upgrade your gear. I enjoy the game, but it feels like I'm being punished for being bad at it. And Thomas replies, again, this is a really good thing to see. You might want to maybe pick up the heal rune from Eleanor and use that, and then you can heal using your focus instead. And Sam replies, yep, I got that. It definitely does help. If you take most other Souls-like games, you can retry a fight as many times as you need. Here, it's just not that case. Other than that, this seems like it's punishing players who aren't good at the game. I don't really see what these mechanics are trying to accomplish. That's really fair feedback. I don't know if you agree with Sam or not, but what I want to highlight, and kind of a key difference maker, especially in the age of like slop and, man, I don't want to get into it. I can start a rant. I'm generally more positive when it's all said and done, but when we look at what the state of the industry and the gaming is right now, this I find is incredibly refreshing. Devs who really care about their project. We've seen a lot of it. We've seen Expedition 33. I think No Rest for the Wicked stands in that same kind of category with a team, passion driven, but they listen, and especially in this case as a multiplayer game, as a ARPG, they listen, take feedback, implement changes, look at the results, see how we respond, and go from there. So, is it fair for negative reviews? Well, I kind of go into two categories. If you're frustrated and this is a way of you expressing that frustration and that feedback, that's a tool. That's a tool in your belt. And I think, and I want to encourage people to be honest. As long as you're also being honest about that feedback, I see no fault in that alone. However, there is also another category that we kind of see online where there's a lot of people who bandwagon on to try and just kind of hate watch or hate dunk on things. And to them, they just have my pity. I just feel sorry for them because that just seems like such a sad life. And so I'm not angry. I just kind of feel bad for them. But if you're frustrated, yes, use the tools. I would also encourage, use the forums, use the Discord. Like as I'm recording this video, Thomas is having a real live discussion and conversation going on, answering questions, getting feedback, asking questions. It's not just the fact that he is answering questions, he's asking questions that are rooted in, hey, let's have that conversation. And there's been many times, I wish I captured it when I first saw it. There's been many times he's like, we've taken that feedback, we're talking about it right now as a team, and then giving updates on that. And all that's going to be reflected here in my content. I'll be keeping you guys up to date on kind of the big news that happens in Discord, the big announcements. We've been covering it here for the last year. We're going to keep on keeping on, because it's just, I think, such a really refreshing way to go about it. It can be frustrating, and I know that there's plenty of people who are frustrated. I don't blame them, and that's kind of a part of the process in this regards. What really matters is 1.0. What really matters is them, and through us, through this relationship of early access players and the devs, trying to make and help refine this game so that it is spectacular, so that when some people either do return, because they will, let's be honest, anybody saying I'm never coming back to this game, I don't believe you, in all due respect, because once you see marketing and you see hype and everybody's playing it and they're talking about how good it is, and the fact that you already own the game, it's easy to update and check it out. And you'll find that absence makes the heart grow fonder, and the things that might have been frustrating you now, maybe they have been worked out. But regardless, I'll be keeping you guys, like I said, all up to date. I'm going to wrap up this video with just a little bit of a message of hope. I don't want to make it too long. I want to send you guys on your way, but I want to say thank you guys, and I want you to focus in on this week on your mental health. I want you to really focus in on doing the work to really kind of get yourself to where you want to be. The reason why we do this is because it's an important reminder. Iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another. And I want to keep reminding you that your life is worth it. You are worth it. You might be in a spot you don't want to be, but guess what? You're not alone. We've all been there. We're all strugglers here, guys. We're all in this world getting the crap kicked out of us from time to time. And your crap might be much harder than mine. I'm not trying to diminish that, but I'm going to tell you that you're an absolute beast. You're stronger than you realize. But the key is that you have to believe that you are. If you believe that you are, or if you believe that you can't, you're right, because that's how this works. So I want to encourage you to be somebody who believes in themselves. And if you're not there, you can get into cognitive behavior therapy. I highly recommend that. It's worked well with me, especially with some of my anger issues, being able to kind of unpack the root thought of what's going on. And you can put in the work, and I would encourage you to do so, because not only is your life and your gaming just going to get better, but we're going to keep you around, hopefully, for much, much longer. So that's the goal for the week. Do some simple things for your life that are going to give you some joy. And I think the easiest thing, and it sounds ridiculous for anybody who doesn't understand, but making your bed, every time you walk past it, there's a level of peace that comes along with it. So let's work on that this week. Let's all work on that this week. And I'm going to wish you guys all the very best. Thanks for your time. God bless each and every one of you. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, take care.